Welcome back. We're going to look at some new percent change problems with some new context. So let's jump in with Piper. She works at a camera store and she gets paid an hourly rate, so the same price per hour plus 16% commission on everything she sells. Meaning if she sells $100, they give her $16 for what she sells. So the more you sell, the more you can earn. You're going to earn 16% of everything on top of her pay. So 1 week, she was paid $515 for working 20 hours and for selling $1,500 worth of equipment. We want to know what her hourly rate was. So this is spicy and a little bit tricky because that $515 represents two things. We want to know how much she makes per hour apart from the commission. So we're going to have to take some things out of there. So Piper, we know what she makes, 16% on that commission. So that is something that we can work with. We know how to find 16% of a number. And we know how many hours she worked per hour. So once we know how much money she had as side commission, we can figure out, well, how much does that cost if she did it for 20 hours? So that's what we're going to do. So here's our plan. Let's find that 16% of $1,500 first using math. That will give us a commission. And then we're going to subtract that from $515. And that will tell us her regular pay. And once we know that number, we'll divide it by 20 hours to find her hourly rate. That's our plan. We're sticking to it. Hit pause so you can jot it down. All right, let's review the plan. We're going to take how much she makes, our $515. We're going to minus the commission. So we're not going to see that. We're going to figure out that number using our ratio table. That's where we're going to find the commission. Then once we get that number, we're going to divide it by the 20 hours. A little bit more complicated, but we can do this. All right, this is going to be a simple part to whole ratio because we want 16% out of 100. And 100% would have been the $1,500 worth of camera equipment. I'm going to use a C for commission here. So 100C is equal to 16 times 1,500. And that's going to give us 24,000. And we can divide both of those by 100. And so her commission was $240. Okay, so let's do the subtraction here. 515 minus 240, which was her commission, is $275. That's how much her commission would be. So now we're going to do our final step to find the hourly rate. We're going to divide this by 20 hours. And we're going to get $13.75. Piper's hourly rate is $13.75. But that commission looks really good, so I hope she keeps on selling so it adds to her rate. Hit pause and jot this down in your notes. A fire department spends $900 to purchase new helmets and gloves. The amount does not include a 6% sales tax and 3% state tax. What is the total cost of the purchases and gloves? So what do we want to know? We want to know the cost of the supplies with the 6% tax and the 3% tax included. And this is what we know. We know the original. We know there are two price increases, a 6% and a 3%. And we want to find, for example, 106% of 900. Like that's if we added just the 6% to it, but we want the 6% and the 3%. So here is our question. In some of the problems we've had, we know that we've had to use math. In some problems, we've been able to add the both increases together, and some we do not. So if you're not sure, we can do it in both steps. So watch what we're going to do here. We're going to use math to find the new cost for each step. For example, we're going to find 3% of 900 and we're going to find 6% of 900. And once we find those two parts by cross multiplying, finding the new price with each tax, we're going to add those to the original amount. So that's what we're going to do to figure out the total cost. And the question that some of us may be asking is, would this be any different than if we added both taxes together? So here's my challenge to you, Math Marbles. I'm going to show you how to find 6% and 3% added together. And if you'd like to explore further, see if 9% of $900 will give you the same cost as what I find in a second. So that's my challenge if you'd like to see if it works in this context. But hit pause, let's jot this down, and I will show you how I find the 6% and the 3% of 900 to find the total cost. All right, so for some context here, we're gonna find what is 6% of 900. And then we're also gonna find out what is the 3% of 900, because that's how taxes work. We want the sales tax of what we bought when we want state tax of what we bought. This one is not compounded, meaning we don't find one and then they add a tax of a tax. So it's a little bit different. So we are gonna use two tables. And in this case, I do want just that piece, the 6% and the 3%. Why? Because I'm gonna take those pieces and I'm gonna add them to the 900. Matter of fact, I'm gonna use two different letters. So I'm gonna add whatever N is and whatever M is, I'm gonna add both of those to the 900. So again, these are just part to wholes. Let's jump into it. 100N is equal to 900 times 6. So 100N is equal to 5,400. Because 9 times 6 is 54 plus 2 zeros. And I divide by 100. So N is just $54. Okay, so that's the 6%, $54. Let's figure out M. So 100M is equal to 3 times 900. And that's 2,700. Divide by 100. M is equal to 27. So that's how much the 3% tax is. And now we're going to add all those together. 900 plus 54 plus 27. 1 plus 5 plus 2 is 8. So 981. Plus sales and state tax is $981. And this was one Math Marbles. I had to make this video again because at first I did find the 6% and then I added and found 3% of that new price. But with taxes, it's different. Like there's this, like if your parents are paying taxes right now, they will pay a federal tax and a state tax of the same amount. It's not like one person, they do one tax first and then add another tax to it, to the new amount. In this case, it's of the same amount. So I want to be careful. And in taxes, we'll talk a lot more about that when you do financial literacy. But I hope this part makes sense. Let's jot this one down into your notes and jump into the rest of your practice. I will see you in the next lesson. Take care.